Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're unboxing the Hercules aluminum professional rolling miter saw stand. Just picked this up today at Harbor Freight for the new Makita cordless miter saw I got on this little makeshift box. It's not really an ideal setup, so figured I'd try this out. I'm going to take it out of the box today, show you guys kind of what's in the box, how it works, and what my impressions are of it. So let's get it going. Okay, so immediately, if you're wondering if this thing is ready to go out of the box, the answer is almost, or maybe partially. Got some parts here, bag of screws. Haven't gotten down there to see what else is in there, but looks like there's going to be some assembly required, so probably would factor on some time to get this ready before you start using it. Okay, so here's all the loose parts that come in the box. We got the stand. The stand itself is pretty much assembled. You don't have to do anything to get it to this point other than pop the legs out. But then we've got the brackets that mount to the saw. We've got the handle, the transport handle, two miscellaneous bags of miscellaneous fasteners here, two wheels. These got ball bearings here at the axles, which is nice. I wasn't expecting that. That will probably help it roll much nicer. And then this, they're solid rubber tires, but the compound's kind of soft, which probably mean they'll roll pretty smooth. I don't know if these are going to be non-marking or not, but yeah, pretty nice wheels. The two material supports, and then this is the bracket that the wheels mount to. So I'm going to get this all assembled up and see how it looks. Okay, so far I got the handle mounted on this end. I got the bracket for the axle mount on this end. This was a little tricky because of where these screws mount, but more specifically where the nuts mount on the back side here. It's a little tricky to get in there, so don't get in a hurry on that part. Okay, so finished the assembly. Got the wheels on. That's pretty easy. Put the material supports in. That was easy. They just dropped right into place. And put the brackets on. They clicked in pretty good and mounted the saw. And I have to say, except for mounting this bracket here, which wasn't terrible, but it was a little difficult, everything else was pretty dang easy on this thing. So yeah, the universal mounting system mounted right up to the saw here. Comes with the hardware. One thing nice about the saw is that the mounting holes, the front and the rear, are in a line. I've had other miter saws in the past where that wasn't the case. These are nice and accessible, so that made mounting this thing super easy. I'm still playing around with how far back or how far forward. I like the saw centered more over the middle, so it's balanced, but I want it far enough back where if I'm cutting wide material, I'm getting the maximum amount of these material supports. The more you bring it here, the more that material is hanging over these supports. So just something to think about when you're mounting yours. The rollers, you know, they're not, you know, easy glide, super nice ball bearing, but they'll do the job. Actually, you know, I've used roller stands that have been super free rolling, and it tends to make the material slide off the bed of the saw a little easier. So this might actually be a good thing. Got flip down material stops, so you can adjust the length. I'm not gonna be able to extend this too far because I'm right next to my table saw, but you can extend the length, lock it down, and then when you put your material in here, you can hit this stop and get repeatable cuts. The material support arm extensions, they got this nice click lock extension, and they slide really smooth. Let's go to the other one here. Now when you're putting this together, one thing to note is the material support that's got these two little pads here. This one goes on the same side as your wheels, and they face out. I'll show you what that's for in a minute, but basically if you're going to stand this thing up, you're going to want that. But these are super easy. Open up. These slide out really nice. and it's got a positive stop, so you can't go too far on it. Lock it down. Feels pretty sturdy. Pretty sturdy. I'd throw a 2x12 on there, no problem. The support arms, they extend up and down really nicely. And the lock, see how it kind of comes in at an angle, presses against two sides instead of just one, like on some other miter stands. That thing is solid. It's not going anywhere now, up and down. A little bit of play up and down in the arm at full extension. Let's put it in halfway and see. Yeah, pretty negligible there. So yeah, mounts pretty good. Pretty positive locking system. Unlocked, locked, mounts on there. So let me push this back in. Lock it. Let's fold the saw up. Got everything locked on the saw here. All right. The other thing I like about this stand is the sorry, I'm getting a little cramped here in the garage. The little releases for the legs. It's a lot easier than trying to push this in with your thumb like on the other ones and then turn it. You got a nice, easy thing here. So let me set the camera here. Okay. Make sure everything's locked. Fold this one out. Okay, so now we got it on the wheels. Now we got it on the wheels like that. Roll this thing around, but for storage, this just tips up. Yeah, no, it's not good. Not yet, hold on. Let's extend this out a little bit. Okay, let's try this again now. All let's see what I did is I raised the material support on that end. Yeah, and now you can store this thing vertically out of the way. You put these legs in now. And one leg has an adjustable end on it so you can deal with uneven ground. And yeah, this feels pretty solid. You can roll it around pretty easy. I suppose you could even work it like that if you didn't want to take the time to set it up. If you wanted to just make a couple quick cuts, you could rest it on the handle there. Let me move this box out of the way. Let's take it out on the driveway. We got some more room. Okay, so this thing was sitting in the corner of my garage, so I was going to go work on a project out in the driveway. I've got this thing stored. Just grab it. Okay. We'll roll it out here. Now we're ready to work. Okay, so overall thoughts, I think it's a pretty good value for the money. It's about 160 bucks with a coupon, which is you know, a little higher than some entry-level miter saw stands from the big name manufacturers, and it's actually quite a decent, a bit lower than some of the other big name manufacturers, more deluxe stands. And I feel like this, you know, as far as functionality wise, fits somewhere in between, right in the middle there. I think you get what you pay for here. Which, you know, for 160 bucks, actually, I think you're getting quite a lot. Time will tell when I start using this thing how it holds up. I'm using the material supports and the stops here. With the material supports fully extended, it's 8 foot center to center from the rollers. So you could use 16-foot material on this. I recommend having some auxiliary stands, especially if you're cutting long material, to help it from bending. But you know, the other thing you can do is offset the saw, you know, a little bit more. You could put this on a little bit more to the right, and then have a longer, you know, from the center of the saw blade to the material support, have a longer length to support longer material there. This has this little feature here, this little bracket that you can loosen it up and you can adjust it, but this helps you put your saw back in the same spot on the stand every time, side to side. You know, so if that's important, that you get it right back in the same spot, it's got that feature there. And it's got a carry handle down here at the bottom, which, you know, unless you just have the saw off the stand and you're just carrying the stand around, that's not really going to help. But yeah, overall, you know, really solid. It's at a nice working height here. The saw feels solid, doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. Yeah, so I'm pleased with it. I'll do more of a review and with the saw, you know, here in a week or so when I get some more time using it and some more time using the saw, and give you some final thoughts. But thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye.